Hello, I'm Philip Burton of SQL Server 101.com, and in this video I'd like to talk about certifications, official Microsoft certifications. There was some news that came out in late February saying that certain certifications would be retired on the 30th of June, and that led to a lot of people in a panic. Well, the good news is it's been delayed, but we'll get into that a bit later. First of all, what is a Microsoft official certification? Well, Microsoft have a huge list of various different certifications looking at different technologies and different skill levels. And each of these are very useful to at least know about because they give you a list of skills that Microsoft want you to know. For example, suppose I was looking at the Azure IoT Developer Specialty. No idea what that is. But if we look at it, we will see that these are the skills that Microsoft wants you to learn. So why should you be interested in a certification? Well, let's have a look at what Microsoft says. First of all, skill up. It will improve your skills. Quite often there are some areas of whether it's SQL Server, whether it's Microsoft Office, that you may not know existed. And the only way you would know is because Microsoft say, I want to test you on it. For example, in SQL Server, it might be something to do with geometry and geography, or it could be temporal tables. And you might be going, okay, I've got no idea what those are, but they're important enough for Microsoft to say, I want you to know about them if you are doing something about SQL Server. For Microsoft Office, it could be collaborative tools, for instance, or it could be get and transform in Microsoft Excel, a very nice feature. So why might you want to improve your skills? Well, it might save you time, for instance. You might be spending a huge number of hours doing something that could be just done in a few minutes if only you knew how. Alternatively, it would allow you to prove your expertise to employers and other people at your company. So maybe you would be able to get a promotion that you wanted, or maybe a better paying job. And this is coupled with the third reason that Microsoft says, get the recognition and opportunities you've earned. Now, let's suppose that there are 200 people going for a particular job, and they all say they can do, say, Microsoft Excel. Who would you believe? The one who says he can do Microsoft Excel, or the one who actually has the official certification by Microsoft to prove that he can? It could get you from just being one of 200 to being on the shortlist. Of course, just having a certification is not sufficient. You actually have to be able to do the skills. But I like to think that these two go hand in hand. So let's have a look at some of the certifications. And I'm going to concentrate on the technology of SQL Server. And there are 7 certifications that you can see here. And the bad news is that 6 of them are being retired. So as of a certain date, Microsoft will say, sorry, these certifications are no longer available. And as of the date of recording, Microsoft have not said, but these new certifications will also be available. So if you would like to have something that's official by Microsoft that you can put onto your CV, and I've done it, or resume, I've done it, and it got me into the interview stage and I got the job, then you're going to have to go, okay, I'm going to have to concentrate for this. I'm going to have to get it before the deadline. Now, the only one which is staying is this one. This is a base level, an entry level, database fundamentals. All the other 6 are unfortunately going. This last one is at an expert level. But let's just have a look at each of these certifications to see whether they might interest you, whether you might want to go for them. Well, the first one is this entry level, and as I said, it is fairly basic, but it shows that you've got something. So if you're going for a job where you need SQL Server, but not necessarily to a high standard, this is actually quite a good certification. So you need to have hands-on experience with things like SQL Server. Job experience, however, is not assumed for these exams, so it really is entry level. But that means you might be able to get it quicker than any of these other certifications. Now, the next certificate is the MS MCSA. This is the Microsoft Certified Solutions Associate. And there are two of these. This one is an older one. It came out in 2012. And don't be fooled by that. The 2012 hasn't improved so tremendously as of the last version, SQL 2019, at this level. It's really improved at the more enterprise level, but for the learning that you could be doing, it hasn't changed that much. There's been 1 or 2 additions, but that's it. So with this certification, you need to pass 3 exams. The first one is all about TSQL. So these are the select statements, and these are designed for database administrators, system engineers, and developers with 2 or more years of experience. The next one, 70-462, that is for DBAs, database administrators, or anyone who just wants to know about administration. And the third one is all about ETL, that is extract, transform, load. It's also for database, so data warehouse developers who create business intelligence solutions. Now, what I like about this certificate is it gives you 3 different aspects of SQL Server. It gives you the select statement type, the TSQL. It gives you database administration, and it gives you SSIS, the integration services. It does it at a fairly good level, but not ridiculously high if this is your first one. Now, if you don't want to have a well-rounded knowledge, but you wanted a more detailed knowledge of one particular specification, then these SQL Server 2016s are more for you. So this first one, this looks exactly almost as the first one we were looking at, the 461. The 761, again, is all about the select statement. And the second one is about a bit of database administration. It's for ensuring high levels of data availability. So you're planning your databases, you're creating indexes, you're ensuring data integrity, you're implementing views, stored procedures, functions, managing transactions and locks. There's a lot of overlap between both of these and this earlier one. It just goes to a slightly higher level. So but if you get these 2, then you get an MCSA, whereas you have to pass all 3 of these, a bit more of a well-rounded view of SQL Server to get the same certification. Personally, I went for this one, and I actually quite like doing all of these different aspects. So it's down to you. Now, if you don't want to go down the select statement and you are a database administrator, then this could be the one for you. So we've got things like ensuring that database systems operate effectively and efficiently, and regularly storing, backing up and securing data from unauthorized access. And then in the provisioning, you would have knowledge of various cloud service models and deployment models, upgrading and migrating databases, and integrating Azure applications. Now, if you are a BI developer in SQL Server, then you might be more interested in 767 and 768. So again, there's a fair bit of overlap between 767 and this 463 that we were looking at earlier. So this is the ETL, the extract, transform and load. And then the second one is all about creating cubes, multi-dimensional data models, so MDX cubes, but also its cousin, the tabular data model. And then we've got these 2 relatively new certifications, analysing and visualising data with Power BI and with Microsoft Excel, and there's a huge overlap between these 2. In both of these, you're expected to have good knowledge of Get and Transform, which is brilliant in both of these, but probably very useful in Microsoft Excel because it's built in and you may not even know about it. And then the data modelling, which in Microsoft Excel is called Power Pivot. Where they vary, the Power BI requires you to know about their visualization and also the service, the Power BI service, whereas in Microsoft Excel, the visualization is done through pivot tables and pivot charts. However, there is a fly in the ointment. And all of these certifications, apart from that very first one that I showed you, are being retired. Now, in late February 2020, they said that it was going to be retired as of June 30th, 2020. And there were lots of professionals going, hang on, you've only given us 4 months, that's not enough time for us. Well, Microsoft may have listened, or it may be because of the current coronavirus problems, but they have now said instead of being June the 30th, we'll give you to January the 31st, 2021. So it's now April the 1st when I post this. So April, May, June, that's 9 months you've got. Somewhere between 9 and 10 months. So it does give you sufficient time to go for even the version of the certification which requires 3 separate disciplines. And you can now see that they are all going to be retired, a huge swathe of certifications going to be retired on January the 31st, 2021. Now you might be saying, okay, what's going to replace them? And the answer at the moment is nothing. We have got no indication that there are going to be any replacements for these SQL Server certifications. If you have a look at this recommended path to the new certification options, you'll see that they are mostly Azure and Dynamic 365. So they're mostly internet connected rather than the standard SQL Server. There is one, however, which may be of interest based on the last certification I mentioned, and that's this Data Analyst Associate. It's due to come out on April the 9th. And if you're interested in these two, which I say overlap a lot, then you might be interested in its new version, the DA-100. Now, this does seem to be a direct replacement for the 70-778 certification and exam. So you'll be using Power BI for data models, cleaning, transforming data. Basically, it looks almost identical to the previous version, with just 1 or 2 tweaks. Now, if you're interested in any of these, then why not Google it? Say Microsoft space DA-100. So that gets you to this web page. You go down and you can see the skills measured, but even better, the exam skills outline. You click on that, you get a very short PDF showing all of the requirements of the exams, and this is what I use in my Udemy courses to make sure that I'm covering everything that Microsoft wants in your certifications. And there have been a couple of instances where I'm going, ooh, I haven't heard of that. Let's research that and put that into the course. So it's a learning process for me as well in some of the newer aspects, maybe things that I've not quite encountered in my normal work. Now, if you're not wanting to do an SQL Server or Power BI certification, then the Microsoft Office certifications are continuing beyond the 31st of January. Now, there are 2 sets of these currently for Excel and Office 2016 and those for 2019. So I'm showing you the 2019 MO-100, MO-200, MO-300 for Word, Excel and PowerPoint. If you pass these 3 exams, you will get the Microsoft Office Specialist Associate. So this is the sort of thing that you can put on your CV and resume, but you'll also have it on your transcript and be able to say, I have passed this. And you can see you have to pass these 3 to get this certification. If you want to go further, then there is the expert level. So that requires you to have passed the associate and do Word Expert and Excel Expert. The requirements used to be different for expert, but these are the new requirements. It looks like the certification that I got, the Master certification, is no longer available, sadly, for Microsoft Office. So I hope this has been a useful review of what official Microsoft certifications are. So you can skill up, you can improve your skills, you can prove your expertise and get the recognition and opportunities you've earned. If you've got any questions about Microsoft certifications, then why not put them in the comments below? And please like this video and subscribe to the channel and click on that notification button.